Hello. Hi guys, my name is Jazzy and I'm originally from the US, but I live in Munich, Germany, and I've been living here for the past 5.5 years, which is crazy to say because I feel like I just moved here, but then there's another part of me that feels like I've lived here for even longer. Okay, so in today's video, I'm gonna share with you some things that I have learned since moving here, things I've noticed that have just made me more mindful, that I think contribute to a greater quality of life, and I just find really special. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get into it, I'm gonna be opening up packages while I chit chat with you guys because I have a bunch of packages that have been lying around my apartment and I just want them opened. I want to get this done, and yeah. None of them are gifted. I have 800 subscribers, so chill. So that's kind of fun. I can also show you what they are as I'm chatting with you all. We're gonna be all positive today because there are a million and one things that I can complain about, but we're not gonna go into that today. That's for another day. Let's backtrack. How did I even end up here? About 7 years ago, I was working for Urban Outfitters at their headquarters. I was an assistant buyer. Every day, there would be this really handsome man who would walk past my desk while I was hunched over my computer. And I would see him in the corner of my eye, and I would give him this like little flirty toothless grin, which I will not recreate today. You know, just trying to be cute. And he would smile back at me. Fast forward to today, that's my husband. And oh yeah, he's German, so that's why I live here. He got a job here, and I decided to tag along. The first thing that I want to talk about is staring. When I first moved here, I felt like everyone was staring at me, and I was like, okay, is there something wrong with me? Like, can people tell I'm not from here? Do I have something in my teeth? Like, what is it? After many conversations with other expats and other Germans, I've come to learn that this is just a cultural difference compared to the US. People just make eye contact with other people. While you can take this as judginess, I don't. I see it as a form of human connection because yeah, of course, there are some people out there who are being judgy, but I think for the most part, people have good intentions. They're just trying to acknowledge you like human to human. And I think that's really special because I know after a long day cooped up in my apartment, I can go outside with full confidence, knowing I'll feel a little bit better, not just about getting fresh air, but I'll feel better because I will have experienced this human interaction without even having to speak to someone, you know, just by making eye contact. That's something that I think the US could really learn from, because sometimes I feel like when you're walking down the streets in the US, people intentionally don't make eye contact, which I don't know why that is, but it is definitely a cultural thing. There's a certain mindfulness and a certain recognition that we are all humans. I know I keep saying that, to this kind of staring, this eye contact exchange. And it is really something that I appreciate about Germany. The second thing, protests. Germans are engaged and passionate citizens. There was a study done in 2018 and they found Germany has one of the highest rates of participation in protests. And I totally believe that. I just went to a protest 2 days ago and there were like hundreds of thousands of people. I don't know the exact amount, but it was wild. And like I had goosebumps the entire time. It was a very special experience, but also a very important one because I'm not gonna go into the politics of it, but it was important. I love this about Germans because even if attending these protests is having a positive impact on elections or policy, like that's besides the point. That's another topic of conversation. Like I'm sure it is having a positive impact, but even if it's not, it's doing something to the collective consciousness of Germans or people who live in Germany. The action of banding together in the streets and voicing our opinions and fighting for equality and love and all these good things, that has to do something good to our collective consciousness. This is just another element of mindfulness and awareness and improved quality of life that I've come to recognize living here. So well done, Germany. The next thing, I'm being really slow opening these packages. The next thing I want to talk about is biking, because biking is definitely not a big thing in the US. All my friends that I have here, everyone I know that lives here owns a bike. In the warm months and the fall, I use my bike to get everywhere. Of course, there's public transportation, there's a tram, there's a subway, there's buses, but for the most part, I use my bike to get around. And I love this. This is something that has 100% improved my quality of life because it's like this built-in exercise. And again, this naturally integrated mindfulness that's just like built into the culture. You're on your bike, you're moving your body, you're in the fresh air, it's sustainable. I could go on and on about riding bikes because I think it's something that the US could really learn from. I don't really have anything else to say other than like, I fucking love biking. It's literally taking me 10 years to open this rug. The next thing I want to talk about is Lueften. I don't know if I'm saying that right, so Germans don't come at me, but it's basically the practice of opening up your window. It's as simple as that. It's basically a practice to make sure that the air in the home is comfortable and ventilated. Even on super cold winter days, people will luft. I don't know if you can use the word like that, but I just did. As you can see, there are also no screens like in American windows. It's just like open like this, but there are those bars here, so you don't have to worry about falling. Now I'm just gonna leave the window open for a little bit, get some fresh air in, and then after 5 to 10 minutes, I'll close it. And then in another hour, probably do it again. I don't usually do it every hour, but there are people who do it. I remember when I was studying here and I would be in lecture all day, that's what we would practice. And actually I didn't like that because sometimes it was just too cold. But I do enjoy like doing it maybe 2 to 3 times a day. Like I said, just to get some fresh air and ventilation going on in the home. The next thing I want to talk about is Guten appetit, which is what you say before a meal in Germany, and it translates to enjoy your meal. I know this is not a unique practice to Germany. Like, for example, in France, they say bon appetit, but I'm American and we don't say that in the US. It's something that I've really come to appreciate. The reason why I like it so much is because it kind of naturally forces you to wait for everyone to have their food, to wait to start eating. So then you're eating all together, which is such a lovely little gesture and experience in itself. It also brings this mindfulness again to eating, to your eating experience. It makes you appreciative of your food because you're reminding everyone to enjoy the food that's in front of them. It's not just sustenance on your plate. It's something to be enjoyed and experienced together. It's just as simple as that. Let's take a little break and unravel this rug. Okay. The moment of truth. Can you see it? Oh good, comes equipped with a weapon. I love. The next one's a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna say it. Everything is closed on Sundays, except for some cafes and restaurants, but most things are closed on Sundays. And of course, I could easily complain about this, and I have, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I also have grown to appreciate this so much. I'll tell you why in a second. First, I'm going to show you what I got. These are little knobs for our new closet for our spare room because we're finally furnishing it. We already have the closet to put the knobs on. This is what they look like. They're really pretty. Our closet is green, like a sage green, I would say. So I think this complements the color nicely. I can't really take credit for it. It was my husband. He's a designer, so he was the one who chose them. So back to Sundays. I used to grocery shop on Sundays, but the reason that I appreciate it is because it forces you to have a slow rest day. Sunday is like dedicated to resting. You can't go grocery shopping. You can't go to any of the regular shops. You can go to cafes, which I do think is really nice because that's like another way to relax, right? You go with your friends or you go with your family, sip on a coffee, chit chat. So I do like that. But yeah, everything else is closed. Again, this is just like another perfect example of how great the quality of life is because of the integrated mindfulness that's built into this culture. The next thing that I really appreciate about Germany is how people wait at the crosswalks. When the crosswalk is red, even if there are no cars coming, people stop and wait for it to be green and then cross the street. Yes, I understand that could be annoying, but what it does, it forces you to pause, just breathe. It makes you realize, like, what are we in a rush for? Where are you trying to get to? And is it that important that you have to risk your life to cross the street? I mean, of course, like if there are no cars coming at all, you're not really risking your life. That was really dramatic, I'm sorry. But the idea, again, of just like pausing and being mindful and just waiting for that little man to turn green is so beautiful. Maybe beautiful isn't the right word, but it's beautiful to me. Another reason why I appreciate Germany. Final thing I appreciate about Germany is cake time. Cakes are not just reserved for birthday parties like in the US. Cakes are eaten every day. Not every day, some people every day, but a lot. And like, life is so short. Why are we not eating cake more often? Why are we saving cake for birthday parties? I will say I don't eat cake that often, but that's just because I'm really careful about what I eat. I pay close attention to what I put into my body. But I definitely eat cake a lot more than when I did in the US. And it just brings me so much joy. A little bit of happiness in your mouth in the afternoon with some coffee or tea. Mostly old people participate in this, which I totally get, because when I get older, I'm gonna do like all of the fun things. Not that I don't do fun things now, but like I'm gonna do all the fun things. And one of those things is gonna be eating cake every day. And hey, thanks for hanging out with me as I shared all of the things that I appreciate about Germany. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I will be sharing more videos once a week, every Wednesday, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.